This Luke 14:26. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yeah, in his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever do not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple.
I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Machakodash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world you know as God Jehovah. Yahweh Shai is the true name of his only begotten Son, whom the world even calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you, sincere brethren, faithfully and diligently pushing this truth with fear and trembling through the Spirit and power. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. The title of this lesson is going to be exercising the discipline muscle. All right, it's going to be a quick exhortation. You know, I'm a brother Taza Mock, and I got with me.
I know.
All right, Lord willing, you know, it'll be edifying for the body. We're gonna get right into it. Okay, this is the online etymology dictionary for the word discipline. All right, it says century 1200, penitential chastisement, punishment for the sake of correction. All right, discipline, physical punishment, teaching, suffering. It says modern French, discipline, directly from Latin, disciplina, instruction given, teaching, learning, knowledge, object of instruction, knowledge, science, military discipline. It says see, disciple. Okay. All right. Now, this is the points that I want to extract from the definition. It said a Latin word is glossed in Old English. The meaning treatment that corrects or punishes. Now, can you get that word cross in Luke in the blue letter? It says treatment that corrects or punishes, ordinary, necessary for instruction. It says military training, meaning military training, training to follow orders and act in accordance with rules, that of orderly conduct as a result of training. Since that's the point I want, orderly conduct as a result of training. And it says the treatment that corrects or punishes. Now read that Luke 14:26 and get the word cross. Let's deal with what that word cross means.
Luke 14:27. Whosoever do not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple.
Now let's take a look at that word cross, because Yahweh Shai said, "Whoever doesn't bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple." And you see, when you go into this word discipline, it says see, disciple. So that's where you get that word from. Okay. But let's go into this word cross.
Strong's G 4716 Staras.
It said a cross, a well-known instrument of most cruel and ignominious punishment.
Punishment. You see, it says ignominious punishment. Okay, punishment. So with what Yahweh Shai was saying, okay, if you don't bear your punishment or your training, okay, keep going.
It said borrowed by the Greeks and Romans from the.
Let's jump to the Strongs.
The Strongs. Stake opposed to sit upright.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay, in the strong definition of cross, it says stake or post is sit upright. Example, especially a pole or cross is an instrument of capital punishment.
An instrument of capital punishment. So what is the instrument of capital punishment that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai uses, all right, for us? Is discipline. Okay? Where do we get the discipline? Through these laws, statutes, and commandments. Let's look into this definition. It says training to follow orders and act in accordance with rules. These laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay? This Bible is the accordance of rules that we are to conduct ourselves by, man. Okay? It says a system by which the practice of a church is regulated. Laws which bind the subjects of a church in their conduct. Okay? That's this Bible. So when we say exercising the discipline muscle, what do you use to exercise the discipline muscle? What is the gym, all right, that you go to exercise the discipline muscle in this truth? The Holy Scriptures, man. All right? Now I got an article. You had something you was going to say?
For the
You can play it. I think they'll pronounce it.
okay, come.
Ignominious. Ignominious.
It say humiliating, degrading, deserving of shame and famine. You know, and that's ultimately what we have to be, humiliated, man.
Humiliated. That's where you get the word humble from.
Humble, yeah, that's it.
And that's what Yahweh Shai was telling the disciples, okay? And that's what he's saying to us, that we must be humiliated. We must go through humiliating punishment, all right? In order to be the Lord's disciple, to be a man of the Lord, you have to go through humiliating punishment, man.
God.
That's what he had to go through. You see, the Lord had to come down off the throne and bear his cross. He had to be humiliated, first and foremost, for his own transgression, okay? And then for the entire sins of the nation of Israel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if I can add too, like, I'm not sure you had the precept when it said Micah 7:9, I would build it in the nation of the Lord till he had pleaded my cause, man.
That's right.
You know, so we got to do the same thing. Whatever punishment the Lord got set for us, we got to bear it. That's the cross. Humiliated, man. You know, humble, man.
Yep. And this is the order necessary for instruction, is that we have to be ignominious. We have to go through ignominious punishment, all right, which means humiliating punishment, right? So get 1 Corinthians 14:40. Okay.
It's 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order.
So with what? With discipline. Okay. In order for all things to be done discipline and order, you must exercise discipline. Okay, because you are in a vessel that wants to do things according to its lust,
yeah,
when it wants to. So the subject of the flesh is sin. It's subjected to sin. The flesh is subjected to sin. In order for you to conquer that sin, okay, you must go through humiliating punishment, which corrects you, because you're constantly going to be going off. So the only way that you can be corrected is by exercising the discipline within the meditation of these scriptures. Okay? Otherwise, you will be utterly destroyed. Let's get Psalms 50, 22, and 23.
Let's say, if I can add, you got to be hearers of the, don't be hearers of the word, but doers also. Apply the scriptures.
That's right.
Psalms, say that again.
Psalms 50, verses 22 and 23.
Okay, God. This Psalms 50 and 22 and 23. Now consider this, ye that forget the Most High.
When the Lord say ye that forget the Most High, he's ultimately talking about his judgment, his order. Okay? Now consider this. Let's go.
Lest I tear you in pieces.
Lest I tear you in pieces. Lest I punish you. That's what the Lord is saying. Lest I punish you. Go ahead.
And there be none to deliver you.
Uh-huh.
He said, and there be none to deliver. 23. Whoso offereth praise glorify me. And to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of the Most High.
See? So the Lord saying, lest I tear thee into pieces and there be none to deliver you. So the nation of Israel is in that exact predicament. Why? because the Lord is instilling order and discipline amongst the nation of Israel, particularly the elect, humiliating punishment, all right? Putting us in a predicament to where nobody can take us out of that situation but him. You see? And he said if we were to do what? Order.
Order his conversation.
Yeah.
His judgment.
All right. All right.
Will I show the salvation of the Most High?
That's right. So that's what we are practicing. Ordering the Most High conversation, which, let me rephrase that. We are practicing the orders of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right, to put it in a more simplified manner. You know, we are taking these laws, statutes, and commandments and having order instilled in us through meditating on them constantly. See, until they come as natural.
Mm-hmm.
You see. Now I got this article dealing with exercising the discipline muscle, right? And it's from attainer.com. It says how to train your self-discipline. Okay? How to train your self-discipline as if it were a muscle. And I'm going to read through this kind of quick and hit the key points, and we're going to get some precepts as we go. You know, meditation makes changes to your brain and increases your self-discipline after just 2 months of practice. This is one of the conclusions of several studies made on the subject of willpower. Learning more about this is essential to manage our energy efficiently, improve our daily lives by decreasing our levels of stress, and ultimately reach our goals. Now, when you're in this truth, okay, it's not about us. It's about what? Reaching and accomplishing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, which he has set before us to follow. Okay? It says, sadly, if you look for articles about self-discipline online, you will probably find tips such as vitalize your goal, avoid all distractions, or focus, which are in general too vague and abstract. We already know we should do all those things. We just don't know what to or don't. We just don't want to or don't feel like it. All right? And see, this truth is not about what we want to or don't want to, or what we feel like or what we don't feel like doing. You see? This truth is about being diligent, okay? And being disciplined. Being doers, as the brother said earlier, and not hearers only. See, but you constantly have to meditate, and you constantly have to exercise these precepts and these orders, you know. And when you exercise something, it's an action. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
The Joshua 1:8, this book of the law should not depart out of thy mouth, but thou should meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. But then thou should make thy way prosper, and then thou should have good success.
And see, unlike this article where it says it's vague, all right? Well, these scriptures, when you come into this truth, we know exactly what we are to do to have good success, okay? Meditate on these scriptures in order to reach salvation and achieve salvation, because that's the ultimate goal, all right? And anything outside of that indeed is a distraction. So we have to be disciplined enough to prioritize our obligations to the Lord. Have to come first, and everything else, okay, has to be a leisure activity, okay? Because everything should be revolved around your obligation, all right, and you bearing your cross, as Yahweh Shah spoke about. But let me get into it. All right, because I got a couple more points I want to hit. I don't want it to be all day. It says the good news is that if you dig a little deeper, you'll find more specific, scientifically based advance. Okay, which I'm gonna skip that part. We ain't dealing with the scientific. We dealing with the spiritual. Okay. It says understanding willpower. Kelly McGonigal, PhD, explains willpower as a conflict between two opposite versions of ourselves. We should do something, but we don't want to. Or we shouldn't do something, but we want to. This is what Apostle Paul was saying. Okay? And we're going to get this scripture. Can you give me Romans 7:18, 19, and then jump to 24. But I'm going to finish reading this. It said, and it feels like we are constantly punishing our core selves, keeping them quiet. This is what makes challenges to willpower so harsh. And it makes it even more challenging and harsh when you are trying to go after the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. When you're trying to follow after Yahweh Shah, all right, it makes it even more challenging. Because without the Holy Spirit, it's impossible. See, individuals in the world are able to accomplish certain personal goals and vain, glorifying goals. But within this truth, all right, the only way that you are able to accomplish and perform the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah is through the Holy Spirit, which comes through these precepts. Now, before you get that Romans 7, hold it. Let's get Psalms 119 and 15.
Yep. If I can add too, they come out on enduring, you know. You know, you gotta do what the Lord say.
That's right. That's right, bro. Let's get that Psalms 119 and 15, Baba Kushai.
Psalms 119 and 15. I would meditate on thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways.
See? Meditating on the precepts. Okay? Now, if you go into the etymology of the word precept, it's going to tell you to take orders. Okay? So, if we meditate on these orders, what it say?
And have respect unto thy ways. I would delight myself in thy statutes. I would not forget thy word.
I will not forget thy word.
Yep.
You see? So, you're going to do those things that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah have ordained you to do, rather than doing those things that your flesh lusts after to be comforted. You know? You're not going to do the things that's pleasing to the flesh. Yeah. Now, let's get that Romans 7.
Because what it says, you do the things of the spirit, you should not fulfill the lust of. This Romans 7:18. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing.
In my flesh dwelleth no good thing. This is what Apostle Paul saying, right? Because the flesh is made what? Subject unto sin. He's going to speak on it. Let's go.
It said, for to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not.
So, to will good is present in me. That's what Apostle Paul is saying. To do the good will of the Lord is present in me. We know what we ought to do. Go ahead.
It said, 19, for the good that I would, I do not.
But we don't do it.
Yep.
Go ahead.
But the evil which I would not, that I do.
Now, how do we do the things that we ought to do? By exercising the discipline, the orders, the humiliating punishment. And see, you understand the consequences behind you not doing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah once you've been humiliated and punished for not doing it.
Yep.
You see? That's what makes that switch go off, what this article is about to speak on now. Before I get you to finish it out, I want to read. It says, we need to switch our brains to feel like that better version of ourselves as the default version, as a natural thing. Now, ultimately, that's only going to come perfectly when Yahweh Shai changes us and puts his law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts. Then that's going to be natural. It's going to come without that what's the word I'm looking for? It's gonna come without that conflict. Okay, it's gonna come without that thought of should I do the things that my flesh want or should I do the things that the Lord? It's gonna come natural, meaning you're not gonna even have to think about it, right? Yeah. But we're able to achieve a certain level of that now through the Spirit, because there's certain things, like I was speaking with the brother about earlier, that we do that we don't even think about. Like, we know not to get hit. Like, we don't think about whether or not that's not, like, brothers that's in this truth as rooted. A hairline is something that you don't have a conflict about. Shaving, whether or not to shave your beard, all right, that's something that you don't have a conflict about. Whether or not to eat pork, eat shrimp, eat lobster, commit adultery, all right, you don't, when you're really in this truth, those things, all right, come natural not to do. All right. So we can achieve a certain level by what? Meditating and exercising that discipline muscle. That's why certain individuals that don't have the Spirit, first and foremost, let us speak as a man and say, hey, you have to have the Spirit. Okay? You have to have the Spirit. So when the Lord bestows that Spirit upon you, you are able to achieve a certain a level of discipline within yourself, man. Okay? You got something?
Real quick. This is Sirach 32:14. Whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline.
Woo!
And they that seek him early should find favor.
Read that one again, bro.
This is Sirach 32:14. Whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline.
Whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline, man. You know? Because you understand the humiliating punishment that comes with you not, all right, fearing the Lord and performing his will, man. You see? Is it more on there?
It said, and they that seek him early should find favor.
See? Meaning that's something that when you come into this truth, the earlier that you come into this truth, the easier it is for you to build good habits to please the Lord. Versus when you've been in the world for so long and attached to the lust of the world, it's hard to break those bad habits.
Yep.
Not saying that it's impossible or it can't be done. It's just a lot easier, you know, when you get it as a young man, you know, because you haven't experienced as much as that worldly lifestyle that appeases to the flesh, okay, that encourages sin.
Yep.
You see?
And what the Lord said, you gotta come as a child, because a child is humble. He doesn't know, you know, because a child is humble, man.
Yeah.
Is that what say? Train up a child is the way he should go, should not depart, man. So we gotta be like newborn babes, renew of our mind, take out the old man, you know.
A child is easier to discipline.
Exactly.
Because it's a child is easier to bestow that fear, to instill that fear in.
Yeah.
You see, he's easier to humble. You see. Let's get that back in Romans.
Romans 7:19. For the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do.
See?
Keep going there.
Yep.
It said in 20. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
See? So you have to conquer the sin in you through the Lord's discipline, which is what? Law, statutes, and commandments. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Constantly meditating on these things, all right? will change your character and your conduct to the point to where you have an adamant character or order about yourself to think about what you do before you do it. And after so long, it comes natural for you not to do those things that you shouldn't do, okay, without thinking about them.
Yep.
You know, but when you first come into it, it's like you have to think. You know, it's why you on the edge and you like, man, should I do this? Or, you know, if you really got that fear, okay, when you first come into this truth, you always asking questions. You want to know, hey, is this going off? You know, you want to know the consequences,
Yeah.
all right? Because you constantly thinking about the punishment that comes with your actions. Yep.
We say the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. This is the condition of the battle.
Yep.
This is the fight.
Yep. You jump down to 24, Baba Kushai, and then I want you to get that word wretched, and we'll close out with one more precept, unless you got something.
This Romans 7:24. Oh, wretched man that I am, who should deliver me from the body of this death?
Oh, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? And the answer to that is clearly Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. All right? But you follow the example of Yahweh Shai, okay? Who did what? He bared that humiliating punishment. So you got to understand, you are putting your body into subjection under the spirit, which is humiliating, because when you look at how we're viewed in the world, we are fools for the Lord's sake. They look at us like we have two left feet. Like they look at us like we are the weirdos, you know, because we don't conform to the sacrifices of this world, where we all about a self-image, you know. We more about the image of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, which his image is law, statutes, and commandments. All right, things being done decently in order, okay, because this world has a false sense of perfection. Their sense of perfection is taught by the rudiments of men, or the orders of the precepts of men, you know. And it's total and utter wickedness when you really get into it, because the man of sin, Esau Edom, is ruling and teaching these different ideologies and teaching these different laws and agendas which lead to death, you know. So when it's all said and done, the only one that can deliver us is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. That's why Apostle Paul said, "Oh, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me?" Now we're gonna get this word wretched.
Yep.
Strong's G 5005. Kalaipodos. Kalaipodos.
They say enduring toils and troubles, enduring trial, afflicted, wretched, miserable.
Miserable.
Yep.
You see? And that lines right back up when we brought out early, Psalms 50 and 22. The Lord said, "Lest I tear thee in pieces and there be none to deliver." Hey, we be asked out. You see? We be miserable, man. And we are miserable without Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai giving us order. If Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai didn't give us these laws, statutes, and commandments to order and direct our steps, we would have no solution but death. There would be no answer for our actions but death, because all we would constantly do is sin and wickedness, man.
Yep, because that's the flesh is about, you know, and humiliating. You know what it say? Our righteousness is a filthy rags.
Yes.
You know.
Yep. And we'll get one final precept. I'm gonna read one more part. Okay. This is it says the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the area of your brain located right behind your forehead. It is in charge of emotional responses, behavioral judgment and attention, and our overall ability to make decisions. Going into what? That pineal gland, man. All right. It said it keeps track of your long-term goals, and it needs energy to work efficiently and dismiss distractions and momentary urges. Okay, it says certain activities increase its gray matter, making this area bigger and better connected. And the best thing is that this can be trained like a muscle. Okay, so that's that spiritual connection. All right, that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai gives you increases through the spirit to be able to have discipline and control your flesh. You see, it said, and the best thing is that this can be trained like a muscle. Your willpower is like your stamina. Okay, your spiritual endurance, man. Okay, it is a limited resource, but as you train it and make it stronger, challenges to daily self-control will be increasingly easy.
If I can add, what does the Lord say? Walk in the spirit so you just not fulfill the lust thereof.
That's
man.
right.
You know, occupy till I come.
That's right. Walk in the spirit so you don't fulfill the lust of the flesh, man. Okay?
Yup. Occupy till I come. Watch and pray.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
prayer is important.
All right. Then it goes and you know, brothers can I'll leave the link in the description box. You know, it goes into different things, different physical things that you can do. Okay. We know that this is a more of a spiritual battle, but brothers, physical health is what also works with the spirit. You have to have some type of physical stability about yourself. You know, you'll notice like the way that you eat, your sleep, you know, all of that plays a part. So it says 5 ways to train your willpower. You know, I'm gonna read one more part. It said train your willpower physiology. You don't need to start doing all these things at once just by themselves. Each one will increase your willpower. We know acquiring new habits does require discipline in the first place, but the good thing is that these will give you more willpower than they take. Better sleep puts you in a better mood to do physical exercise. Exercising makes you more likely to stick to your goal of eating healthy. Eating more healthy makes you more likely to stick to your goal of meditating for 10 minutes each day, and so on. Now we know that the real food, right, is the food of the spirit, the spiritual food. But indeed, our bodies do have to be upkept, all right, in order to perform and actually even be in the spirit. So it's 5 ways to train your willpower: better sleep, stress management, exercise, meditation, low glycemic plant-based diets. Okay, because a lot of the things that we eat, all right, we brothers not eating good, and they can ultimately affect the way that you perform in the spirit. You know, you stand up late all the time, then getting right back up. Brothers doing a lot of drinking. You know what I'm saying? A lot of unnecessary stand up. You know what I'm saying? Just, hey, get you some sleep, man. You know, because sometimes you can't sleep. Now, I'm saying it to say this because sometimes you just can't sleep. I witnessed that last night, and I was trying my best, you know. Remember, too, you know, the scriptures do say this is not our rest.
Yeah.
And not to keep carrying on, you know, because at some point we need to close. But just to make the quick points, hey, you do have to physically take care of your health, okay?
Your temple.
So that you can be spiritually fit, too, you know, because the spirit itself takes a toll on your physical, all right? But you was gonna make a point, bro.
I was gonna say excess meat brings sickness, man. So
Yep.
you gotta really watch your diet, like more green than meat, so to speak, man. Watch what you put in your body, man. What you put in your body is like fuel. You know, you eating junk food all day, you become lazy.
Yep.
You know, you drinking all day, you become lazy.
Become tired.
Slothful.
Yep.
You know, So you gotta watch what you put in your body, man, because this is your temple.
Yep.
You know, you gotta kill yourself a some way. That's all I'm about to say.
Yep. And it's all a part of that discipline, man. You know, not giving in to the lust of the flesh. You know, but we'll get the closing precept. Luke 6:40.
Because this is the book of Luke 6:40. The disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect should be as his master.
Right. You see? So you're gonna bear that humiliating punishment. And you're gonna be trained, all right, in the correction of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which is what these laws, statutes, and commandments. Ultimately exercising your discipline muscle, okay? Because you want to be as disciplined as men of the Lord. We are to be disciplined. That's where you get the word disciple once again, you know. And with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, glory once again to Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Wakakwadash. All right. Double honors to our teachers, apostles, and elders, a great millstone. We're going to say Kwam Yasharallah, Abab Abal, Rise Israel, destroy confusion. All right. Peace and salutation to the elect. Shalom.